What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Golden Sports bringing you guys the results to the UFC 153 pay-per-view event that happened. And the first fight on the card was Demian Maia versus Rick Story. In case you guys don't know, the card is being held in Brazil, so every fight has a Brazilian fighter, and the fighter is Demian Maia, which is Brazilian, going against the American Rick Story. And Demian Maia has a wonderful Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, and Rick Story is just known for his wrestling. And as soon as the fight started, Rick Story landed a couple of really good punches right off, the rip. Like, as soon as the fight started, he landed a couple of really good shots, but then Demian Maia just grabbed a hold of his legs and was able to take him down. And from there, it was pretty much just wrestling going on. And obviously, that's what Demian Maia wants to do. He wants to get you on the ground, and he wants to utilize his strength, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's exactly what happened. He got on top of him. They wrestled around for a little bit, but then he got into body triangle. He wrapped his legs around his body, and he was able to get him with a rear naked choke. So he was able to choke him out. So first fight on the card goes to Demian Maia, first round with a rear naked choke. Fight 2 on the card, we had Phil Davis going against Wagner Prado, and it was a very dominating fight. I mean, Phil Davis was looking very good, very explosive in his takedowns. He pretty much controlled Wagner just in every aspect of the fight. The striking and the grappling, you could just really tell that Prado was just out of his league when it came to grappling. Phil Davis had absolutely zero resistance when trying to take him down, and when he did take him down, he was just giving him some very powerful punishing strikes. And in the second round, probably about 30 seconds left, Phil Davis took him down, was hitting him with some strikes, and ended up getting Prado into an arm triangle from the side control. But then he ended up getting out of it, which I was surprised. Definitely wasn't expecting that. It looked tight. It looked like he was going to be able to finish him there. But once he got out of it, he pretty much got him into another submission hold like immediately after that, and ended up submitting him. So I'm actually surprised on how good the fight card is. I mean, we had Phil Davis versus Prado. Next up, we got John Fitch versus Erick Silva. Then Glover Teixeira going against Fabio Maldonado. Then Big Nog going against Dave Herman. Then, of course, the main event, Anderson Silva versus Stephan Bonnar. So they definitely got some really good fights on the card. And Phil Davis looked absolutely amazing. This is the Phil Davis that if he would have showed up against against Rashad Evans, it would have been, possibly one of the greatest fights ever. But Phil Davis just really didn't look like himself that fight. And he was coming back off of surgery, but this time he looked really good. He looked, again, very powerful, very explosive, and very dominating in this victory. While really quickly, guys, in the very bottom of the description is the website where I watch all the UFC fights and live sporting events for free, in case you guys are wondering, in case you guys want to catch these fights. Fight number 3 was, such an amazing fight between John Fitch and Erick Silva. Absolutely, it went the distance, but it was a great fight, and this is why it's called mixed martial arts, man. The way these guys use their different styles of fighting to combat one another is absolutely, when you sit back and you don't look at it as just fighting, you look at it as an art form, is absolutely amazing how these guys can counteract what they're doing. It's just amazing. Round 1, Fitch was able to pretty much dominate the round with his takedowns and just using ground control, staying on top of him, being able to pummel him. And round 2 was a kind of a back and forth kind of round where Silva had his moments, Fitch had his moments, but I give the edge to Silva. And round 3 was just complete, again, domination by Fitch, able to take him down, able to control the fight, able to, do some submission attempts and whatever. On round 2, Erick Silva had a nasty submission holding. But then as I was going in, you hear the commentator say that John Fitch has the greatest submission defense in the history of the UFC. He has 25 submissions attempted against him, and he has never ever been submitted in the UFC, and it's just crazy. So he got out of it, and he ends up winning the fight by unanimous decision. It goes all the way, but it's an incredible fight so far. I think it's fight of the night so far. Like, it was such an amazing, great fight. But Fitch was able to dominate 1 and 3. But round 2 was so good. That's what makes it such a really, really good, outstanding fight. Because round 2 was going back and forth. And pretty much the entire fight, even though rounds 1 and 3, Fitch was able to control it, Silva, put up a fight. And, it was just a really, really, really interesting, good fight. But John Fitch was able to come away with a unanimous decision. Wow, the fight that I just witnessed was wow. Oh man, Glover, whatever you want to call him, Glover Teixeira going against Fabio Maldonado, and this had to be one of the most just gruesome fights I have ever seen in the UFC ring, man. I mean, Glover ends up hitting Fabio within the first 5 or 10 seconds or so, catches him with the left on the chin, and he ends up stumbling against the cage, ends up, hitting him again. He ends up dropping, and this guy, Teixeira, has full mount on him for a good 3 or 4 minutes, hitting him so hard, like, he threw well over 100 punches that round, and you could hear so loud and so clear this guy's fist hitting this guy's jaw. He's hitting him with elbows across the bridge of his nose, and so hard, so many times, it really got to a point where I just really wanted to cover my eyes, because all you seen was this guy's face getting punched in over and over and over again repeatedly, and you're looking like, why isn't the ref stopping the fight? You even hear Joe Rogan saying, I have no idea why Yamasaki has not stopped this fight yet. It's getting to a point where he can't defend himself. Somehow, by the grace of, I don't even know how, but somehow, some way, Maldonado survives. He ends up getting to his feet with about 30 seconds left, but he gets up wobbly. He could barely stand. Like, he can't even move. Like, he's just out of it. He's so woozy, and it's just, crazy. And at that point, you're like, this guy can't take any more damage, and you're on the feet for about 30 seconds, and he's still getting punched. Somehow he throws a left hook, and he hits Teixeira, and he rocks him a little bit. He hits him with a hard left, and he's rocked, but outside of that, no damage was really done. And as soon as the second round started, it was the same thing. The guy's getting punched repeatedly in the face over and over again, and you could hear, Teixeira has to be one of the most vicious throwers as far as punches goes I've ever seen in my life. Like, this dude has Mike Tyson type punches where he throws them with such viciousness. It's just scary to see them land, because they connect with so much force that is just, incredible. Again, somehow Maldonado survives the second round, but the doctor ends up stopping the fight. They don't even make it to the third round, so Glover Teixeira ends up winning that fight by stoppage after 2 rounds, and whew, man, that was not a pretty fight to watch. What is it about Big Nog and fighting in Brazil? I mean, obviously you know what it is, man. This guy comes up huge every single time when he fights in Brazil, man. The co-main event is Big Nog versus Dave Herman, and Big Nog comes through with an armbar in the second round. Last time he fought in Brazil that I know of was against Brendan Schaub, and he was a huge underdog going into that fight. But Big Nog ends up winning that fight through strikes. And this fight, his striking looked good. He caught Herman off guard. His takedowns was, pretty decent. And they were going back and forth with the submissions. Every time Big Nog did a submission, Herman was able to finagle his way out of it. But he got into a armbar, and then Herman kind of flipped himself over, and then it became an armbar with Big Nog on his belly, and then he rose back over, and then it's just a traditional armbar, and he was able to tap him out. So, Big Nog able to come through with an armbar submission in the second round. You hear that? Even my baby's excited. Okay, so I just finished watching the main event, and as expected, Anderson Silva wins. I mean, Stephan Bonnar didn't really give him too much trouble. I mean, Anderson Silva was kind of taunting him in the first round, just back against the cage, hands down. Like, Like, Bonnar, come do what you're going to try and do. Come try and hit me. Come try and take me down. Which he did all of the above, and nothing really happened. He was just really toying with them, but then, out of nowhere, the first round is winding down. And Sniper Fig, he just turns it up. He just rushes at him, hits him with the knee straight to the stomach. He falls down. He goes into the fetal position, tries to cover up. He swarms him with a couple punches, and then the ref goes ahead and stops it. I mean, if anybody really thought Anderson Silva wasn't going to win, I was looking at the reviews and the predictions, and they said that, for a 205 fighter, Bonnar has had the best chance out of Irving or Griffin, because Bonnar, he runs at you. He's a bigger guy. He's not afraid to take him down. And he tried to take him down. They got stuffed. He tried to attack them, and they were evaded. And then it looked like when he just turned it on, when Anderson Silva, as my alarm is going off, when Anderson Silva wanted to just fight, it's like out of that whole first 5 rounds, out of the whole first 3 or 4 minutes that happened, Anderson Silva fought about a whole 20 seconds. And out of that 20 seconds he fought, he won the fight within those 20 seconds. So Anderson Silva is by far the greatest MMA fighter of all time. If anybody has GSP ahead of him, you have an argument, but I don't see how you can have GSP in front of Silva. I believe Silva's number 1, greatest all time. As far as the card goes, again, really quickly, we have Demian Maia defeating Rick Story by submission first round. Phil Davis defeating Wagner submission second round. John Fitch decision beating Erick Silva. Glover beating Fabio Maldonado by Dr. Stoppage. Big Nog beating Herman by submission. And Anderson Silva winning by TKO. And that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yes, baby. My baby's excited too with his little Mickey Mouse backpack. But I'm really excited to bring you guys this review. It's been a while since I've been able to stay home and watch a UFC event. So that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, website is in the description so you guys can watch these free from now on. I'm out. Peace.